You know what they say, third time's the charm. Maybe this time I will actually be able to make a sentence make sense, because the multiple tries I've done so far have been outrageously bad. And despite me looking the way, like, you see the way I look. If you're, for the audio listeners, you can imagine just like someone who doesn't look their best. Can you imagine that for those few tries I did, my looks were not the worst thing about the episode? So, anyways, hello everyone. Welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Guys, I just want you to know, first, let me set the scene. The mentality with which I am approaching this episode is that of a woman with a broken heart, because I have been getting clips, like videos, of this one monkey in a Japanese zoo that has not been accepted by its, do you say herd when it's monkeys? I genuinely don't know. But that has not been accepted by the other monkeys that it's sharing a habitat with. And it's a baby monkey, and it has its own stuffed toy. Is it stuffed toy? Is that a word? Stuffed toy animal monkey that it brings with itself to play with, because other monkeys don't socialize with it, and the other monkeys are being violent towards that baby monkey and are not acceptive and are trying to steal the baby's toy. And it's so incredibly heartbreaking. And I just want you to know, if nobody takes care of that baby monkey, if nobody wants to play with that monkey, if nobody wants to socialize with that monkey, I will take all the 50 cents I have in my bank account, and I will make sure to drag myself somehow to Japan and adopt that baby monkey and give it the love it deserves and the care it deserves. Because what do you mean no one wants to play with it? What do you mean? And then this was my Instagram, and to distract myself from this, I'm literally tearing up. Stop it. Stop. So this was what I encountered on Instagram. And to distract myself from this emotionally wrecking news, I decided to open it like TikTok, because obviously I cannot be left with my thoughts for 10 seconds, because if that happens, I fear they might be no coming back, and I would genuinely be scared for myself. So I opened TikTok to distract myself from Instagram, and I just see, like, literally the very first video I see is of this person who's saying goodbye to his cat, and they are putting down their cat and they're petting their cat, and like the cat just dies in their arms, and it's like, oh yeah, the petting for that cat never stopped. It just, bro, what? I'm sorry guys, I just fear I will not be able to be a ray of sunshine today. I'm sorry, I just don't think I have it in me to have like a sliver of positivity. And not to sound negative, it's just like there has been an emotional wreck after an emotional wreck after an emotional wreck, and I just need to come on here, dump it all on you, make it your problem too, so that it's not just a me problem, because you know what they say, shared pain is half the pain. I guess that's, I don't know if that's how math pain works, like emotional math works. If this hood does not stop falling every 10 seconds of my existence on this planet Earth, I will make it everyone's problem. I'm sorry. I'm just like in a weird mood this week, and I promise you, we will cover my mood and what I'm going through. It's just, yeah, I'm sorry. I just couldn't be bothered to try and look presentable because, to be really honest with you, what I deserve to do right now is to just be in bed. I am in bed, but like, you know what I mean? Like, to be in bed and watch Two Broke Girls as I fall asleep and just call it a day. Because, no, no, I'm done with this hood. I'm giving it like 3 strikes and it's out. Anyway, so hi guys, how are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. For those of you who asked, I want to tell you like an incredible story that happened to me this week. And I was talking to a friend and she told me, girl, these things keep happening to you simply because you have a podcast. If you didn't have a podcast, you wouldn't have the need to tell stories. And if you didn't have the need to tell stories, no story worthy things would be happening to you. So, Dirty Martini is happening, but at what cost? Like, at what cost? No, it's okay. It's okay, guys. But like, I just want to let you know about the way my week kicked off. So, like, it's Monday. I am very hopeful. I am very full of life. I've slept, so I'm excited. And I go to make my breakfast because I've decided that I'll start eating breakfast. And if you are not new here, you may know that I'm not really the breakfast type of person, but I am trying to eat healthier, she said, after she literally has been eating. I hate the fact that I'm talking about myself in the third place, so let me rephrase that. Did I say third place? Third person. English is not Englishing, okay? Today is just going to be one of those episodes, and good luck to future me that's going to be editing this during my break at work. Good luck, soldier. Good luck, soldier. But yeah, I'm saying that I want to eat healthier when I've literally, like, I'm sorry, but my sugar addiction has been spiking and I've been eating nothing but chocolates and biscuits and marshmallow and like making my knockoff European version of marshmallow because we don't have graham crackers here. And yes, I am making it in the microwave because I air fried marshmallow and it slaps so hard, but cleaning that up was unpleasant. So now I'm microwaving them on top of the biscuit, and I'm microwaving the biscuit and it's getting moist and wet and unpleasant. So anyways, so I go on Monday, a new beginning, a new week, a new start. And I'm excited, I'm going to be making my avocado toast, like healthy queen. And I take out my slice of bread and I see that the corner of my slice was missing. But I'm not suspecting anything because I'm like, well, obviously that's normal. It's happened before because my bread was in my bag with the other stuff that I bought and it was like squished among other like healthy, not healthy, I mean healthy, other heavy stuff. So it's okay. And I'm not suspecting anything of it. So I make my avocado toast, I eat, the day passes by, Tuesday comes, and I go to do the same exercise because, health is a lifestyle. And I take out my slice of bread and I see that the quarter of the slice is missing. This time it's not just the edge. And I'm thinking, man, I know that I bought some cans of stuff that were heavier, but how squeezed could it have been in my bag that like a quarter of the slice of bread ripped off? So I'm like, haha, hee hee, like watching Two Broke Girls, not thinking too much about it. So I'm like, oh, let me just go into the bread package and grab my quarter that's missing. And I just go to grab it and I don't see it. And I'm like, wait, where's my quarter? And I don't see it. And I'm just thinking, man, how dare they put such a bread for sale? I mean, like, obviously, a bread doesn't have to be perfect to be for sale, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is not what I paid for. This is less bread than I was promised. So I'm like, not thinking anything of it. I'm just like a little bit like disappointed. And I just see that where that set slice was, there was a hole in the nylon package of my bread. And I'm thinking, how is there a hole? And then it just hits me. And I realize that this is not just a hole. And my bread didn't just break. This package had been nibbled through, and my bread had been nibbled on, obviously by a mouse or mice. I don't know. So, what that meant is that the day prior, I had shared a piece of bread with a mouse. I had eaten mice leftovers. And I just start feeling so incredibly sick. I'm so incredibly against food waste. You don't know how against food waste I am. I'm so sorry, but I just simply had to throw that away because I'm sorry. I just like that had been contaminated and I couldn't afford it. And as I'm fighting this incredible urge to throw up, I am taking everything out of my cupboard because I want to clean it. Because the thing is, this is not my first experience with mice. I have an episode that's called something like Greedy Landlords or something like this. Listen to that. Listen to that. You will see that this is not my first experience with mice. And because it's not my first experience with mice, I come prepared. Everything in my cupboard is in sealable bags, not bags, boxes. And I normally, well, not normally, but like a few weeks ago, months ago, I don't remember, like time is an illusion, time is a man-made construct. I started storing my bread in the fridge to keep it fresh for longer, but also because I don't know. But this time around, I had not put it in the fridge. I had just put it in the cupboard and I didn't think much of it. And I just left it on top of my sealable boxes. And obviously, a mouse went there and ate it. And then I finished it. And I take out all the boxes and I see mouse shit. And I am fighting every single urge in my body that is pushing me towards burning this whole place down and me burning with it. Because, oh my God, I wanted to throw up just thinking about it. And I had this want to throw up sensation for multiple days. And as you can probably guess, I lost my appetite and I'm very like the other day I was very scared to buy bread. I was like off put by the concept of bread, and don't even get me started on the concept of an avocado toast because I love avocado toast so incredibly much, but I fear for the time being it might have been ruined by for me. And I what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck? Like, why? what have I done to deserve to eat something eaten by a mouse? And I know you're out there, like probably some of you are saying, bro, like there's mice in the supermarkets you go to. There's mice in the storage spaces of the supermarkets, of the warehouses. Like there's stuff that has been touched by mice without you even knowing it. Yeah, I know, but ignorance is bliss. As long as it's not in my home, and I clean my vegetables and I clean my stuff before I consume them, it's okay. But I just really didn't need to be reminded that I live with mice. And I'm just so incredibly ready to move on, meaning that I want to live in a nicer house. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I'm so incredibly appreciative to have the privilege to have a roof over my head and to be able to afford to pay my bills. I'm so incredibly appreciative. I'm not taking it for granted. But I just genuinely, why do I feel like I sound spoiled by me saying I don't want to live with mice? And the thing is, I know my landlords are not going to do shit, because I remember last year when the mouse just gave us a reminder that it's still here. And I told them, the landlord simply told us, yeah, they're coming in because here in the house it's warmer and outside it's cold. And they were also complaining because of our gas consumption that we were using up too much heating in the -10-degree winter. So I just remember them saying that we should make the temperature inside equal to the temperature outside, which they were trying to kill two birds with one stone. Is that the saying? Two rabbits with one stone. Sorry, I just Bulgarianized that phrase. But like, so they're not going to do shit. And I know it's on me to do, well, I mean, I live with 4 other people. Someone else can also, take some action. But like, I personally refuse to put any traps and see potentially a dead mouse in the middle of my kitchen, let alone in my cupboard, because I'm not even going to apologize for the person I would be if that happened to me. Because no, I just simply refuse. And I am longing for the day I am going to have my own, you know how I normally say house? I feel like market is so fucked. I'm going to say apartment, and I'm not even implying I'm going to be an owner, because what is going on? I'm going to cover this as well. Don't worry. Don't worry. Like, we today have gathered to honor and partake in another economic and political state of the world right now rant. And yeah. And I'm just looking forward so incredibly much to the day I have my own space, my own apartment, and I don't have mice, and I don't have any insects, and I don't have any rodents, and just live in a safe space. Because what my mind really cannot comprehend is, because my landlords, I live in a house that's on the private market. This is not a house that's owned by an organization. My landlords are the owners of the house. And what my mind simply cannot comprehend is the negligence towards this place. And because, like, why are you leaving? Like, literally, my window pane is serving no purpose because there's wind in my room. And it's just so incredibly mind-boggling to me that you would just leave everything be and not put any effort into improving the space or upkeeping it, or I don't know, like isolating it better so that you can also save up on bills in the future. Like, it's an investment, sure, but like, if you don't make that investment now, you're going to pay more for it later down the line. And it's just incomprehensible to me, because I know that for me, they don't give a shit. I know that for them, I'm just a simple renter. And if it's not me, there's like tens of thousands of people in this city who would fight to have my room, simply because it's a room. And I know that I'm so incredibly replaceable for them. I don't want them to care for me, but I want them to care about the house, because it's so incredibly confusing to me how this is your own house and you just simply have left it up to faith to take care of it. And like, there's mice, there's like pipes that are clogged, and have been clogged for years, and no amount of detergent, no amount of acid, no amount of like those snakes that you put in and like twist. Nothing is solving the issue, and you're doing nothing. You don't want to isolate your house, because the thing is, those are people who have children, and those children have children, and those children's children. Why don't I just use the word grandchildren? I could literally use that. So those grandchildren live somewhere close by, and they may want to live in that house because it's a nice location. And like, let's say those children want to study in university. Do you think they would want to rent, considering that there is a house that is owned by the family? With what eyes are you going to look at your children or your children's children, aka grandchildren, and give them this house? I'm sorry. Again, I'm so incredibly appreciative of the fact that I have a home, that I have a roof over my head despite the roof leaking. But come on, bro. Like, if you're going to be a house owner, be a responsible one at least. Like, I know it's an investment, but it's the least you can do, because you're doing yourself a disfavor if you don't upkeep it, because things are just going to be becoming progressively worse. And now my other neighbors also started doing reconstruction. So there's literally reconstruction coming from three places right now. And this place during the day is simply inhabitable. Not inhabitable. You cannot stay here. That's what I'm trying to convey, because it's so incredibly noisy, and I am just so incredibly full of anger. But yeah, about my mouse story. So the day after I realized that I had shared my food with a fellow housemate, apparently, I had an appointment with a GP here for the first time in the Netherlands, my first time going to the doctor, because thankfully I've never had to go to the doctor here, and if I need to get some procedure done or like something checked out, I do it in Bulgaria, because from what I had heard, healthcare here sucks. And so I go to the doctor and I'm telling her, hey, just so you know, this is my first time coming to the GP in the Netherlands, so I'm a bit intimidated. She's like, no, you're fine, don't worry. So I tell her my concerns about the thing I want to consult with. And then I also tell her, can I ask you another question before I go? And she's like, yeah, of course, no worries. And I just tell her, well, I apparently shared an avocado toast with a mouse. Is there some vaccination I need to get? Is there some medicine I need to do? Is there something I should be worried about? Because at this point, more than 48 hours had passed. So whatever was going to be in my blood system was going to be in my blood system. And at first, when I realized that I had eaten the slice of bread nibbled on first by a mouse, I thought about taking this we call it in Bulgarian active charcoal. I don't know what the term is in English, but you take it and it makes you throw up. Like you give it to people if they've drank too much alcohol or if they've taken something they are not supposed to take, and this just makes all your insides become outsides. But by the time I realized this, there was no point in taking this because it, like, by the time I realized, already 24 hours had passed, so it was already like digested. And I tell her this, and do you know what the doctor, the practicing medical practicing medical specialist told me? She just told me, give me a second, and started Googling it. I was like, girl, I could have done this at home. And she started Googling rabies to see if mice have rabies and if I can get rabies from a mouse. And the thing is, if you have rabies, you have a very short window to act, you know? And yeah, she was like, yeah, I don't know. I think you should be fine. You shouldn't have rabies. I think you might be okay. Girl, the like, if you think I might be, if you're not certain, let's do some tests, shall we? Let's take some preventative measures, because Googling my symptoms, or like, well, I didn't have any symptoms, but like Googling the situation to see if there should be any concern about it is concerning, because I could have done this at home. And I'm sorry, I am good at self-diagnosing with Google. Like, obviously, I always go worst case scenario because I'm a hypochondriac. But you are not supposed to diagnose me with Google. And I'm not saying that you, as a general practitioner, should know everything about everything. Like, obviously, there are specialists that have specialized in a certain field and would know way more than you. But your job is to refer me to a specialist who would confirm or disprove certain concerns, certain claims. So if you are unsure of whether or not I have rabies, or I don't know, like the Black Plague, I don't know, like, crazy concept, do some tests. Just do some tests. And I talked to her about my knee, because I've been telling you that my knee has been hurting a lot and I injured it while running. And she just told me take ibuprofen. And if this is not the summary of what Dutch healthcare looks like, I don't know what is, because they cure everything with ibuprofen and with paracetamol. And I genuinely felt so incredibly dismissed, and I felt like a customer, not like a patient. And hopefully I don't have to see a doctor, but if God forbid something has to, be taken care of, if I have the opportunity to, I will go to Bulgaria, because I'm sorry, but like, I will not tolerate any Bulgarian healthcare system slander. I just will simply not take it. And for the people who are shitting on our healthcare system and are shitting on our doctors, you have no idea how much our doctors are doing for us. Are there rotten apples somewhere? There's everywhere, in every single profession. And are there like corrupt people? There's everywhere corrupt people. But please be next time you go to the doctor in Bulgaria, to all my fellow Bulgarians there, just say thank you. Say thank you, because those people treat you like a patient and not like a customer. And while you may not realize it, you're actually taken care of. Okay? Okay. Guys, I want to rant about the political and economic state of the world right now, emphasis on the economic, because there are few certain things that happened to me in the past 2 weeks which have left my flabbergasted. So, you know how I told you I was in Bulgaria 2 weeks ago, and I come back here and I go to do my grocery shopping because obviously, because I was gone, I didn't have anything in my fridge. So I go to Lidl to do my grocery shopping, Lidl, my love, my savior, and I literally, in the middle of the store, had to take out my Little Plus application because, yes, I am 23 and I'm using Little Plus. And just like Zlatan Ibrahimovic said about IKEA, yeah, this may not be what rich people do, but it's what smart people do. So if you don't use Little Plus, bitch, get on your Zoom. Get on your Zoom. You're missing out. And honestly, Little did a little Wrapped this year, and that was so incredibly funny. But yeah, anyways. So I had to pull out my Little Plus and because I had to compare prices because, like I mentioned, my flabber was gasted. My gob was smacked. I go to purchase 12 eggs, a dozen of eggs, a carton. And I at first, like, I'm grabbing them and like I always grab the same eggs. I always like whatever. And I just never look at the price, and I don't mean it as in like, oh, I'm so rich type of way, but it's just like the price usually is the same and has been the same. And my little eye, I have two, was caught by a price label, which is the reason I had to take out my application. And I literally pulled out receipts and I was like, wait, no, let me compare. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry, I just saw this on Instagram today, so I have to say it. Ladies and disappointments. No, it's okay. It's not okay, but like, whatever. A dozen of eggs in December in the Netherlands at Lidl cost €2.65. In January of 2026, the same dozen of eggs cost €2.95. And then in February of, why did I pronounce the month like this? I don't know. In February of 2026, that same dozen, that same carton of eggs cost €3.80. Take a seat, let that in. No, what is it? Sit down, take it, let that sink in. Whatever the TikTok is, whatever. I'm sorry. Was the hen that hatched those eggs fed with salmon? What do you mean more than €1 increase in a month? That is just outrageous to me. And I know you might be thinking, oh, but like, yeah, but like you don't buy eggs every day. First of all, who are you to tell me how many eggs I should buy every single day? Second of all, divas. Everything has gotten so incredibly expensive. And I know you may be thinking, oh, this is such a stupid rant. Why is she even considering like posting this on the internet? Bro, because we should be talking about this, because this affects all of us. Literally. So in a lot of Dutch cities, there are farmers market. markets. And the one in my city, they don't sell only stuff that is grown locally by the farmers, they also sell stuff that has been imported. So I would go there because you can get really good deals for vegetables and fruit. And I just would go there mainly for avocados because, like I mentioned, I love avocado toast, or at least used to, since, like, the whole Mickey the Mouse eating my bread, whatever. So I used to go there, and like on a really good day, you can get like 2 to 3 avocados for €1. And then since the beginning of October or November, I want to say, avocados have been becoming more and more expensive, which, I mean, avocados here at the market were really cheap. I recognize this, like 2 or 3 avocados for €1 is very cheap for avocados. But then they started becoming, like, after New Year's, actually, not October or November, after New Year's, a single avocado became 150 at the market. And they're like 2 something euros per piece at the supermarket. And then now in February at the market, avocados are now 180. And it's just, what do you mean, Diva? What do you mean? And then it's just like so incredibly frustrating because I work part-time. I can barely make ends meet. I get minimum wage. You can look up how much minimum wage is in the Netherlands. I know you may be thinking, why is she talking about this? Because, like I mentioned, this concerns all of us, but I also really don't think that money and like costs of living should be a taboo topic. I personally don't believe in taboo topics. I believe that everything should be talked about because we all share a sort of a human experience. Like, some of us go through some stuff more intensely than others, but we generally go through very similar stuff. And that's why I don't believe in taboo topics, because like labeling something as taboo and excluding it from public discourse just creates a narrative of it being something shameful and something private. And while I respect that certain things should be private, I'm not saying that nothing should be private. I fully respect privacy, which is ironic considering that I come on here and blast everything I do all the time, which honestly has been giving me a lot of anxiety. And I've been becoming very, very anxious about the fact that I'm putting myself out there on the internet. And but could be misused, could be misinterpreted, could be, held against me. So it is very scary. It keeps me up at night. And like, it's been something I've been thinking about a lot more ever since Dirty Martini became a video podcast. But this is the price I have to pay for doing something I love. And there are nights when I'm like, I really want to press the delete button and just delete the entire existence of the podcast. But then I just, like, obviously will not do it because I believe in the podcast. I love the podcast. I stand by what I've said, I believe. I don't know. I mean, I still reserve my right to change my opinion about everything and everyone as I grow, as I develop, as I learn more stuff. But yeah, it's just like, it's something to think about, like the fact that I put myself out there a lot. And this has been something that has really changed the way I approach the podcast, and not in a way that I want to build a distance between you and me, that, like, I don't want to build a wall. I'm not Trump. But I just, need to be cautious in some ways or others, but not when talking about prices of groceries. Because, my guy, what do you mean I bought eggs, yogurt, and a carrot and I paid €10? 10 euros. That is just outrageous to me. And then, to make everything better, I have kept my Bulgarian number throughout my entire living here. And every now and then, because I use my Bulgarian data, use my Bulgarian minutes, or blah, 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 they start charging me for roaming. So when they do that, I just get a prepaid card and just use that one until I go back to Bulgaria and my data plan restarts and I'm no longer charged for roaming. So now I am using my Dutch card. And the thing is, I have paid, like, I didn't get a prepaid one. I actually got a subscription this time around because I was like, fancy. And basically I got 400 minutes of talking, like conversations on the phone, European Union wide. And then I log into the app to see how much of my data I have used. And the thing is, I call my parents on the phone every single day, and we talk now from my Dutch number. That because, like, I have 400 minutes European Union wide, and I log into the app just to see that I have another 30 euros on top of my already a bit expensive subscription. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What is going on? And I just press on that invoice to see why I have been charged that much. And I see that those 400 minutes that are European Union wide are charged for calls outside of the Netherlands. And I'm like, bro, how is it European Union wide if you charge me for calls outside of a single European Union member when I'm making a call to another European Union member? So that was very, very frustrating. And then, to make matters worse, basically, so guys, here's the thing. I need to make a confession, and I don't mean to make it sound like very, wow, how crazy and how brave of her. What a brave storyteller. How could she ever share this with us? I watch Formula One. I never talk about my love for the sport. I never talk about me being a fan of I'm literally wearing merch right now. I never talk about me being a Formula One fan because in my life, outside of the internet, I have faced a lot of sexism as a woman fan of Formula One. I have been called names. My fan intentions, my fan motivation has been challenged because men who, some of whom don't even watch Formula One, perceive that I watch the sport simply because of the pretty drivers or whatever. And apparently I don't look like someone who would enjoy motorsport, which I didn't know that motorsport fans had a particular look to them. But yeah, I've just been very cautious about me not saying, like, I have hinted at certain stuff. Like, I, for example, used a driver's names. Like, I told you that I have Daniel Ricciardo's, like, here speech, like, printed on here. But, like, I really didn't want to comment on my fan experience as a Formula One fan, which I think might be counterproductive because I feel like by me not speaking up and not speaking out, I'm actually perpetuating the narrative of what it means to be a Formula One fan and that women should be fans only in silence. So I think I'm doing actually a disfavor, but it was, I promise you, done with self-protective mechanism in mind, because I just, like, it's really not pleasant to have someone be sexist towards you. I'm sorry, like, and like be misogynistic towards you. It's really not nice. And like to think that you will appreciate a sport simply because the person who partakes in the sport is attractive. If you are attracted to that person, good for you. I'm not watching it for the drivers. So I don't know if I will start talking about my experience as a Formula One fan. I don't think I'll come on here to talk about races and stuff. But what really I was taken aback with was, so the season is starting, what, 2 weeks from now? Well, now they're doing some preseason testing. I'm not going to bore you with this. If you want to like look into Formula One, do that. I think it's a really exhilarating sport, and it's a very interesting sport, and you can learn a lot about a lot of stuff from there. But basically, my friend and I, who we share a subscription with on the F1 TV platform, because both of us are very paranoid about our data being stolen, being leaked, and viruses. And I know that it's weird for me to be scared about my data being leaked when I come on here and willingly leak it every single week. But like, like I if I can afford it, I prefer to pay for the legit service, because it also comes with a lot more advantages, like playing back the races, because some of the races are early in the morning or late at night, or like while I'm at work, or blah 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 blah. So we're talking about our subscription, and we go to subscribe, and the monthly subscription for Formula One is 18 euros per month. 18. And last year it was 13. To me, that is so incredibly outrageous. Because do they actually think I'm on the salary of the drivers? Do you think I can afford to give 18 euros per month on top of every other bill I need to pay monthly in order to watch people go in circles for like 50 laps? I'm a big appreciator of the sport. Don't get me wrong. I cry almost every other race because I'm so emotionally invested. But 18 euros? That to me is outrageous. That is fandom exploitation. And because people are going to pay that price, I mean, I literally subscribed. But I did the annual subscription, and we just like split it in half. So like it's basically as if it was 13 like last year. But because people will pay that, this enables them to increase the prices even further. And it's just so incredibly outrageous how everything is becoming so not attainable, and how I can barely make ends meet. Like, I know I'm working only a part-time job, and I know I'm earning minimum wage, but it's so incredibly outrageous to me that money has, at this stage, become, for multiple years in a row, such, and I know it's a privilege that like before that I've not had to worry about money to that extent, but like money occupies a big part of my day-to-day thinking, because I have to worry, can I afford this? Can I afford to go out with friends? Can I afford to actually eat meat this week? Can I afford to get one avocado or two avocados? Do I take half a bread or do I take two breads? Do I shop at Albert Heijn or do I shop at Aldi? And it's so exhausting. It's so incredibly exhausting. It takes up so much mental capacity. It takes up so much thinking. It takes up so much mental, emotional resources, as well as financial resources that you don't have. And I'm so incredibly frustrated because everything, first of all, everything is subscription based now. Everything is subscription based. There is no ownership of anything anymore. And everything is becoming more and more expensive by the minute. And the richer are becoming richer, the poorer are becoming poorer, and the middle classes are being eliminated. And it's so frustrating because what used to be, let's say, I don't want to say a given, but like the natural course of progression of a person's life beforehand, in terms of like, oh yeah, they go to school. If they can go to university, they'll go to university, but in any way they'll be able to get a job, and with their minimum wage job they will be able to buy a house in a couple of years, and they will be able to sustain their family without really having to deprive themselves of a lot in terms of, oh, we need to constrain consumption of this or that. And this was natural progression of life. And now minimum wage is simply insufficient for people to make ends meet, for people to pay rent, for people to buy groceries. And it's so frustrating that now it has to be a trade-off between one or the other. And I know that, yes, I'm working a part-time job and I'm still a student, and it's normal to be not as rich as or whatever, but like, it's still so incredibly frustrating. And it feels so daunting. And I honestly feel like I'm in some sort of a rut. And I, like, not only because of money, but because of other stuff, I just feel so incredibly stuck. And I feel so incredibly directionless. Because so now I will be, hopefully, if everything goes well, I will be graduating with a master. I will be a highly educated person. And like, consequently, one would be able to assume that I would be a highly qualified person, at least on paper. And like, now, basically, everybody keeps asking me, oh, so what's next? What's next? What's next? And I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next because I feel stuck. No longer is a minimum wage enough for you to cover your basic expenses. No longer is an education enough of a justification for you to get a job. No longer can you find an entry-level job without already having experience. And I'm sorry, but how am I going to get experience if I've not been employed before? Someone has to bet on me. And like, you sure can go do an internship, but good luck getting an internship, because internships here are attainable only to students. And like, I, for example, was a full-time student who works part-time, but like, this part-time is, let's be real, a lot of the times full-time. So where would I get the time to actually do a 40-hour internship, like 40 hours per week, and be paid literally €1 per hour? To be making a little less, if it's a well-paid internship, to make €300 per month. And to me, that is incredible exploitation of labor. And it's so incredibly terrible how capitalism has made us crave this exploitation, because this is our only way into actually getting a job later, but without actually securing you the fact that you will get a job later, because they can just get another intern and pay them in peanuts. And why would you, like, it's so frustrating. And don't get me wrong. Really, please, I'm begging you, don't get me wrong with what I'm going to say next. I work at a fast food chain. I'm not embarrassed about this. This is what's paying the bills now. This is what's convenient now. It's flexible. It's allowing me to sustain myself as I study. But I have colleagues who have graduated. I have highly educated colleagues who are PhD candidates, colleagues who had to become workers at a fast food chain because they were declined an opportunity to pursue a PhD. And at this stage, I just cannot really see a point in anything. And I don't mean to be nihilistic. It's just like, what is the benefit of getting an education apart from the fact that, like, like you gain critical thought, which is obviously not something to be neglectful of. I am incredibly grateful for my education, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But it's so sad that a degree nowadays does not guarantee you employment. And what was all that investment of time and money and moving abroad for if all I'll be able to do is potentially be hired by like full time to work at a fast food chain? And I don't know, like, man, like that's why I just have been feeling so incredibly shit, because now I've started writing my thesis, which means that I'm in the conclusive stage of my education. And people are asking me, what's next? What's next? Are you going back home? Are you staying here? Are you doing a PhD? Are you doing another bachelor? Are you doing another master? What job are you getting? Where are you going to go? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I feel scared. Okay? I feel very scared. I feel very lost. And I feel incredibly stuck. And I feel incredibly constrained. And that education is supposed to open doors for me. But things feel so incredibly grim, so incredibly depressing, so incredibly sad. And I don't know how to approach those situations, because with my education, I'm one of the many. I am in no way extraordinary. Sure, I'm a good student, but I don't have internships because I had to work throughout all my studies to be able to support myself to do a study. I don't have any extracurricular activities because I had to work to be able to afford to go to my core activities of my program. And it feels like the structures, the system are not set up for the average low income person to succeed. They're not set up for that person to be able to climb up the ladder. And it feels like everything is set up only to privilege the already privileged. And for the rest of us, yeah, just go eat your €3 80 cents eggs. And if you cannot afford them, then like sucks to be you. And it's, I don't know, man. Like I know that rant maybe made absolutely no sense, but like there is an insect on my ceiling. Was the mouse not enough? Was the mouse not enough? It just feels so incredibly confusing. And it feels like like, honestly, yesterday I had a customer, because at my place they also increased the prices, and there have been many customers who have been complaining about the increasing prices, but my guy, there's nothing I can do. Like, that extra euro on top of the food you're buying doesn't come towards me. Like, I'm not getting any extra just because the food became more expensive. So one of the customers yesterday was like, damn, it feels so nice to live at the end of the world. And why is that insect there? I need to go to sleep, but how am I going to sleep with an insect there that I cannot reach? And ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Just please you know how they used to say that it was apparently a social experiment. I had no clue that people eat spiders in their sleep. I fully believe that. I hope this doesn't come anywhere near me because I've already eaten traces of mice this week. I don't need to eat insects as well. Thank you. But yeah, man, it just feels depressing. It feels daunting. It feels like there is no way up. The only way is down. And I know that sounds so like what a ray of sunshine. I know, like, what a positive. Like, I know some of you come here to distract yourself from negative experiences throughout the week, or just like, to chill with me. And I'm sorry for being unable to be a ray of sunshine today, but like, there are moments in which it feels like life is just an overcast and there's like a storm brewing up, and I don't know. And then you open LinkedIn and you just become more and more depressed because people your age are posting about their internships and how they've become like CEO of this, like someone my age has become the CEO of, I don't know, Microsoft. How? Literally, don't tell me an internship. If you tell me an internship, I promise you, I'm going to find you, and with my mouse infected saliva, I'm going to spit in your face. Because what do you mean? Like, I'm sorry, but like, everything feels so useless, and everything feels so incredibly dystopian, and everything feels so existentially meaningless. And this is not only because the monkey is being an outcast, okay? It just, there's so much suffering in the world right now, and so much pain, and like, it's that pain is caused to the masses. Like, it's the average man that's suffering, and the people on the fringes, like the elite, the 1%, they're not, I mean, I'm not part of the 1%, so I cannot really speak of them, but like, I don't think they're experiencing it as hard, like an increase of by, I don't know, €1.20 to their ex. I don't think they're experiencing it as hard. So it just feels like life, from a blessing, is turning into a privilege that not everyone can afford. And the system that was set up for us to be able to afford to make ends meet is working against us. I don't know. I feel like I'm becoming way too nihilistic. And I feel like that's such a great way for me to end my day. And girls, gays, and days, I need to go watch Two Broke Girls. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If there is any enjoyment to be found in this extremely cheerful narration of life. But if you did enjoy it, I thank you. If you did not enjoy it, I still thank you for giving me your time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, stay positive. One of us has to, okay? This week it couldn't be me. Hopefully next week. And if it's not next week, you'll have to forgive me. Because there's moments and there's moments. What am I talking about? Stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye! And also, blessed Ramadan to all my Muslim friends!